Black Magic Woman, originally by Fleetwood Mac, most famous by Santana. All right, so it is a 12-bar blues pattern. So we just look at our root notes first. So I'm going to have 2 measures on D, 5th fret of the A string, 2 measures on A, and I'm using the 5th fret of the E string. You can use the open strings if you wanted to, but we're going to do this fretted back to D for 2 measures, down to G, 3rd fret of the E string, back to D for 1 measure on A, another measure on D, and then it ends on a D. So bar 1 is on D, bar 2 is on D, bar 3 and 4 on A, bar 5 and 6 are on D, 7 and 8 are on G, 9 and 10, 9 is on D, 10 is on A, 11 and 12 are back on D, and that's the turnaround. And then it basically repeats after that. Then within each chord, we're actually going to play the same relative pattern based off the root notes. So when I start with the D on the 5th fret of the 3rd string or the A string, and then I'm going to play its perfect 5th, which will be 1 string towards the ground, 2 frets towards the body. This will be the 7th fret of the D string. Then I'm going to play its dominant 7th, which is going to be a minor 3rd above the 5th, or it'll be the 5th fret of the 1st string or the G string. And the only other note is going to be the octave note, which is a whole step above or a second above the dominant 7. In relationship to the root note, it's 2 strings towards the ground and 2 frets towards the body. So I got root, 5th, dominant 7th played twice to the octave, and then bonus points for going back to the dominant 7th. Is the pattern. I do the same thing on A. It's perfect 5th. Same pattern, just everything moved 1 string towards the ceiling. Back to D. Same pattern. Then G will have the same pattern, but the root note's going to be on the low string at the 3rd fret. Still root, 5th, 7th, octave back to the 7th. Next thing to do is to count out the beats. So it's actually going to be a dotted quarter note, which creates groove into a series of 8th notes. So it's going to go 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2. So beat 2, I'm either going to rest on or kind of carry that D note into it. I think it's a rest there. So it's 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1. Rest, and 3, and 4, and fingers wise, not sure what I do. So I do the index, middle, index, middle, index, middle. Because I'm going to start that index, middle, and then the rest will just flow alternate picking. So it is alternate picking, but it's 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and. So let's do a play along. With drums at 90 beats per minute, which would probably be about 3/4 speed. At the end, I end on this high D. So if you're playing along to this and that last 8th note trips you up to get back to a root note, first practice it off as 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and just end on the octave. Still a cool groove. And it gives you a quarter note to get that index finger back. Another technique you could use is kind of rolling the index finger. So I use a different part of my index finger to play the first string, and I don't really move my whole tip over. This would be easy for guitar players who know bar chords. They already have this feel. And it really is minimal movement. A lot of times I do tend to move my index finger and jump it back. As long as you get there in time, those are just two different techniques to try out. One might work better for you than the other. All right, so that was 90 beats per minute. And then we're going to do 105. 2, ready, go. All right, and ultimately 120. 1, 2, ready, go. Something like that. All right, practice it up, have fun with it. It's got cool technique to it. Keeps you in the groove range and has you moving around in a 12-bar pattern. Pop on the song, that is the actual key of the song, and that's about the approximate tempo. All right, so until next time, have fun with it, and come see me for more videos.